No, I'm sure Hollywood's going to be calling soon. This is just a temporary gig. Just a way to raise my visibility. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm leaving the... Oh, hi. We're back on. Welcome back to Cats in Camo. I'm Dan. We're out on the range shooting the CZ75 SP-01 9mm handgun. We did the paper targets. It's time to move up to steel. And I'm going first. I want to show you what we're going to do. We've got steel targets set up behind me. We have a torso to my left that I'm probably blocking. There it is behind me. We're going to double tap the torso to the left, and then we're going to knock down each of the 5 zombie heads, hopefully. 1 shot each. And then we're going to double tap the torso on the right. That's 9 rounds. I have 10 loaded into the CZ. If I can go 9 for 9, set way back in the hill, it's kind of hard to see. I've been having trouble picking it up, but there is an 8-inch steel gong set up, low and mocking me. If I go 9 for 9, it'll leave me 1 round and I get 1 shot at the mothership. So we're gonna try that. If I hit it, yay! And if I don't, Allie gets to shoot next. So the CZ75 SP-01, going hot on the range. No joy in Mudville. The mothership is still alive. This is a tactical course gone sideways.
Or at least one that went to the bowling alley.
Yeah. So what do you got for us, Allie?
I've got bowling pins and shaving cream. We've got 6 pins, and hopefully we're going to finish off with a nice explosion from the shaving cream.
Instead of me being able to use it again. The CZ75 SP-01. Loaded, chambered, safety on. 2 big steps forward. Strike!
Woo!
Oh, cartwheels. I have to admit, I want to love this gun. And I'm not sure if my scores are going to reflect how much I like this gun. But let's get it started and find out. We start as always with comfort of grip. Remember, this is a 1 through 5 scale out. So we're going to start with the comfort of grip. And this is a gun that was made to sit low and comfortable in your hands, has extended beaver tail to sit there and keep your hand in the right position, has rubber grips. I really like this gun. It's a little bit, tiny bit small for me. I like the larger frame for the 45s that they make, but I'm still going to give this a 4.
This gun met my expectations, and it was comfortable, but it wasn't amazing, and it wasn't uncomfortable. So 3.
Let's talk about the sights. This gun comes standard with night sights. Having night sights is important to me. And this has quality night sights, but having said that, the 3-dot sights on this gun are actually kind of small for a full-size gun, and they're not as fast picking up targets as several others that I've been fortunate enough to work with lately. So I'm actually only going to give this a 3.
The sights on this gun just seemed industry standard to me. Again, I haven't had the opportunity to shoot at night yet, and probably won't in the near future. I'm sure we will later on, but for right now, shooting in the daytime, they seemed industry standard to me, so I gave it a 3.
Let's talk about the trigger. This is, for a service handgun, a way above average trigger. I'm giving it a 4.
The trigger on this gun did seem to be a little bit longer of a pull than I like or what I expect from a handgun. But one of the things that I liked at the same time is that once I figured out the pull on it, I was able to almost compensate. So my shooting wasn't too, affected. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but sometimes with a longer pull, it affects how I shoot.
Right.
But this one, it had a longer pull, but after shooting it a couple of times, I was like, okay, I think I can compensate, or I think I can figure this out, where I can still hit my target. And, you know, for the good and the bad coming together, 3.
Now let's talk about perceived recoil. The idea is rounds on target. You can take this gun and hold it and pull the trigger again and pull the trigger. When you're doing tactical drills and you're putting a group as fast as you can in a small circle, this gun absolutely shines. And for that reason, I'm giving it a 5.
For me, the recoil seemed average. I'm sorry. It met my expectations. It's not saying that 3 is a bad score. Again, 3 is industry standard. It is what is expected out of a firearm, and it was what I expected. It wasn't too much. It wasn't too little, or it didn't, exceed my expectations or disappoint them. So 3 out of 5.
Let's talk about accuracy. This gun should be way more accurate than I showed. I'm just going to say that. Some guns really work for you and some guns really don't. And as much as I like this gun and I want to shoot it really well, I shoot it average for a full-size 9mm. I shoot several others better. And even though the gun's probably more accurate, that's mechanical precision. For me shooting it, I have to give it a 3.
When I shot this gun on paper, it didn't seem to go where I wanted it to go. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't hit the target, but it just wasn't, the bullet ended up, or the hole ended up somewhere. I was like, whoa, it's over there. I was pointing over here. But on my specialty course, I shot it really well. And it seemed to, hit more accurately than it did on the paper course. And I feel like I keep having these moments of, I always have one good thing and one bad thing. It's never just all across the board one thing. It's this was good, this was bad. So when you put them together, you got a nice 3 sandwich.
Let's talk about ease of reload. Magazines release really clean. They go in really clean, even fully loaded. We didn't do that. We didn't show that on the course where we load to 5 rounds and 10. But at 18 rounds, it still goes in easy, solid, and dropping the slide. And it works really well. One of the strengths of the gun, and I'm giving it a 4.
I would have to agree on that, especially in the times where I got to practice just off camera, dropping it, putting it back in. It seemed really nice. It seemed to drop clean. You could put it back in. I think there was even a couple times where I wasn't even looking and I put it back in. And so that's really cool. I mean, if you can actually do that with a magazine, where in a quick situation where you just drop it, put a new one in, and you go. I mean, that's
That's
better.
the goal.
Yeah. So I think 4 out of 5 is a really good score for that.
Let's talk about reliability. It fired everything that we put in it. I will say that having run 2 different types of ammo through it, it functioned a lot better with slightly hotter ammo, and I don't know if that's just true of the gun itself or whether it wasn't broken in completely. But just for that, I mean, it still fired everything, but it did run better with hotter ammo. We're going to give it a 4.
So I've got to shoot 1, he's got to shoot 2. Just going to point that out really quick, because with the 1 round that I got to shoot, it seemed industry standard. It fired, it did not fail to eject, or fail to load, or what do you call it when it...
Failure to feed.
Thank you, failure to feed. I'm
FTF?
learning, guys, I'm learning.
And FTE. Well, you have to be. If you knew all this stuff, you wouldn't be our gun newbie, and then we wouldn't need you on this show, and I'd have somebody else who knows nothing sitting next to me. I mean, an inexperienced person offering their opinion.
Now I get why I see my worth now. I see my worth. Okay. But because of that, it went boom when I wanted it to. It didn't fail to eject. It didn't fail to anything else. The one kind of ammo that I shot through it seemed to work just fine. So 3 out of 5. It did what I expected it to.
Let's talk about ease of maintenance and cleaning. This gun, when you watch me take it apart, in addition to the slide release coming all the way out, so it's an extra piece, and it is the CZ75 design to do it that way, it's harder to actually knock this out. It's harder to put it back in as well. It didn't look that way on camera. It went in really clean this time. But I've had difficulty taking this apart and cleaning it while we were getting used to it. And it's because of that, it's actually a step lower than industry average. I'm going to give it a 2 on that.
When it comes to me and guns and learning about guns, I cannot wrap my brain around the usefulness of taking one piece of a gun to knock out another piece of a gun. The same gun. That, to me, doesn't... I don't have words for it. It's just... It seems dumb to me. Now, I'm sure there's people out there be like, it's a perfect solution because then you don't need a tool. Okay, fine. But still, having a tool is another piece. And the more pieces you have, the more likely it is to lose a piece or not have a piece that you need. You have to use a piece of this gun to take it apart. And again, you get this little tiny piece out of it, which is easily lost. So 2 out of 5.
All right, well, let's add up the scores on our CZ75. My total is actually 29. Average Alley, what'd you do?
Why'd you have to end it with that? I gave it a 24, which is average.
The average score all the way down the... Wow. Nope.
So how much does a gun like this cost?
Retails for $680, and the real value of it is actually pretty close to that, just because it's hard to get a hold of. You usually find them, when you do find them, they run in the $630 to $650 range.
Okay, not bad.
All
I mean, it's still expensive, but it's not bad.
Well, true. My first car cost less than that.
Really? Cost less than $600? Wow.
I'm old enough. My first car could have been from a Sears and Roebuck catalog, so don't read too much into that. I can't even
imagine a car being that cheap. Wow.
It had all 4 tires, too.
Well, that's all that matters right there, I guess.
No rims.
Well, unfortunately, guys, that's all the time we have for today. If you liked this video, please point those crosshairs at the like button down below so we know that you're enjoying this stuff. And make sure to stay tuned for more reviews coming soon. See you then. 4 and 2 equals 3. Cats and camel math.
And once we all puzzle through that, you're going to realize she's right. She's averaging it. You have to add and then divide. And then you're left with average Alley.